Mr. Srikumar sir has got his Bachelor of Engineering and MBA from the MBA from the Jones Graduate School, United States of America. And he is in charge for process measurement and controls, industrial outcomes and process measurement. Also in charge for process measurement and requirements in the Honeywell, and he's working for quite some time in the United States of America. It's a man of example and a role model for many in the world. And today we are so blessed to have him here. So one of the known leaders in the globe today is with us today. That's a great opportunity for you, the first year MBA students, to interact with Srikumar Srinivasan sir. So with that small note, I would like to invite Sarvesh, our Student Association Vice President, to give a small welcome note. Then sir will continue with the opening presentations.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Adithya School of Business Management and Business Student Association, it is my most pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to the CEO Meet 2000. Today marks a momentous occasion as we gather virtually, transcending geographical boundaries, well into the realm of business leadership and innovation. I am extremely honored and delighted to welcome Mr. Srikumar Srinivasan, the President of Honeywell, Process Measurement and Controls, Industrial Automation, as a special guest and esteemed resource person for this session. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
To inaugurate, a few words from you, sir, then we can start with the presentation, sir.
Sure. Okay. So first year students MBA. So I know I've been there, right? I've been sitting exactly where you are. Obviously, everybody has a dream that you want to achieve. That's why you're all here. But most important thing, as you learn when you go through many successful people, is how they vision what they want to do in this age in which you are, and have a very clear plan of getting there. Being a great human being, is a given, right? You have to be a good human being if you really want to, inspire others, if you want to be a true leader. So there are many, leadership skills in our industry. We have some great CEOs. I'm sure, Steve Jobs. He's known for his innovation, leadership skill. I'm sure you also know Satya Nadella, right? I mean, the CEO of Microsoft. He's known for agility, right, as the leadership skill. Jeff Bezos, let's say, right, founder of Amazon, he's known for resilience as the leadership skill. Our own Indra Nooyi, right, former CEO of PepsiCo, she's known for inclusivity as the leadership skill. So leadership skills can be many, right? It doesn't matter. But what is important is what is common amongst everybody. They're all very good human beings, very easy to work with, very approachable, very humble. So, that's something that you all should always aspire to be. And that is number one, which is, great human beings. So during this course of next 15 minutes, I'll take two lessons, right? One is a typical classroom lesson on, C-suite skills. So, I have a couple of slides. That's what, I normally do when I get together with students. This typically, how your professors will teach you or what you learn in the book. And then I have a slide on, forget all these classrooms, right? When you go in the industry, you are what you are, right? You have been brought up by your parents, and you have, you develop skills. And how I develop some of these skills, through what experiences, I'll explain in one slide, which is very, very practical stuff, right? That's exactly what I've gone through in my 30 years of life in the industry. So I'll share that information as we go along.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful openings for our students. And let me just get into the slides. So. Is it visible, sir, to you?
Yeah, now it is. let's go to, yeah. So I'll take, as I said, two sections, right? We can go to slide 3. Can we just go to one more slide? I'm sure you have introduced myself, so thanks for all the introduction. So this is the classroom style, right? I'm sure you'll you'll read through your books, and or your professors will teach you, and many of these things will look very similar. So I try to put a couple of slides together so that you get the classroom style inputs, which will help you. And then I'll go to another section, which is like one slide on my experience itself. Right. So the way I look at it is, a C-suite, it doesn't matter whether it's a CEO or a president or a vice president of a company, right? I mean, and doesn't matter which function, he or she could be in HR, he or she could be in technology, he or she could be in running the business, right? It doesn't matter which function, but I think there are 4 critical skills that you need. One is an agile mindset, right? I mean, in that you need to be understanding that, every day is different, things change every year, markets change, technology changes, people change, the environmental change, the ecosystem changes, the geopolitical situation changes. So, you need to have the agile mindset to understand what's really moving, and how things are, and hence you have to be what I call is you have to be a learner. You have to do, learn a lot. That's learnability, and you have to be agile, right? Both. What's learnability? It's continuous self-improvement, right? Invest in yourself, right? I mean, don't expect, somebody else to come along in your industrial world, to come and take training and things like that. Always invest in yourself. There are things that you could do without any cost, right? Like, seeking for constructive feedback from people, reflecting on your own job experiences, and having continuous learn and share sessions with your colleagues here in the room, or when you go to the industry in the industry, because the knowledge share, as you share knowledge, you also gain a lot of knowledge. So I think you need to have the mindset of learnability. Otherwise, you will get very soon obsolete in your thoughts, in your knowledge. The second is agility. Okay, what do you do with this knowledge, right? I mean, how do you quickly and effectively adapt to these new changing conditions? That's very critical. How do you try new things, implement different approaches and ideas? You need to have the confidence, you need to have the risk-taking ability, and demonstrate openness and enthusiasm to take new initiatives, so that it also encourages others, to do so. And also focus on process improvements, the way you do things every day, the way you work with your colleagues, work with your co-students, etc. So understand how to improve. There are people who are very methodical in their approach. It's nothing wrong in copying from them, learning from them. How are they methodical in their approach? So yeah, I mean, so agility is something which is also very critical. So agile mindset is one of the key, I think, skills that any C-suite person should have. Second is leading change. In that I call, for leading change, there are multiple areas like I think there are 4 which I always teach. I've just listed 2 here because I consider other two as part of this. Like the first one is you have to have a passion to lead, right? I mean, I'm sure in your class also there are many students, and you're very, it's very evident who stands up and wants to always lead the class, right? I mean, it's very clear. I'm sure you all know in your mind that this person, is pretty bold, extrovert, will stand up and want to always lead the class. So that's something that you should have, and that's why you become a C-suite. That's why I don't list as one of the critical areas for leading change, right? If you're introvert, if you don't have the courage to lead, you will never be a C-suite. So it's a must that you want to lead, right? Being a leader is something that you have to have a passion, otherwise you never get into the C-suite. The other, which I really believe is empowerment. I look at empowerment a little bit more in humility. That's why I club them. So leading change, I look at these two as most critical, which is championing collaboration, right? For ensuring that the entire organization. So just imagine, right? I run an organization with 3,000 people, and if they all have to collaborate with each other, the amount, and we are all in 120 countries, right? So to communicate and ensure that we all work together, it needs a lot of effort. But most important is to have a vision, right? And a vision which everybody buys in. Everybody needs to believe in that vision and understand the vision, believe in that. So there's a lot of communication that you need communication skills. It has to be very, very effective. And as you communicate, it should inspire others, right? People should be obsessed, should be very passionate to work for you, work for the vision that you have set for your business, right? For your company. So that's something that is very important. And that's when the collaborativeness comes into picture, right? When everybody is aligned to a common goal. I mean, you have seen IPL matches, and how everybody comes together to the common goal, right? I mean, CSK, you can see how Dhoni leads CSK. So I think that's very critical, and also be very inclusive, right? I mean, don't disregard anyone's ideas. Take it in, digest it, and if it's something that you after digestion you feel it's not worth it, that's okay. Go back and explain why, right? It's very important to be responsive as well. So that's on champion collaboration. The second was on humility. I mean, this is very critical. You may be the CEO, but if you start creating the air gap between people, right, by showing that you're a big person, you're dead. People will be scared of you. People will not be able to open up and talk to you, and that's really that's your downfall. It's not the people's downfall. It's not your team's downfall. It's going to be your downfall. So always be reflective of and be self-aware. It's very crucial. You understand where your biases are. Understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. More important, acknowledge, right? When somebody points out, it doesn't matter whether you're CEO or president. If somebody tells you, we have a problem, acknowledge it, right? I mean, they always say that feedback is because 10 people are talking about it, right? I mean, people don't give you feedback just like that. They give you feedback because, they are hearing 10 things about you, and that's why they're coming and talking to you. So acknowledge it, ensure that you improve, and then empower and trust people, right? I mean, that's where you help gain respect too, because if you give respect, you get respect, and it's as simple as that. So all the leaders that I talked about, right, in the beginning, I think one common thing you will see is humility. I mean, they are very, very down to earth, and always reflective and self-aware of themselves. So that's the leading change part. Let's go to the third one. Can you go to the next slide? Driving business, right? So leading a business and driving a business are two different things, right? So driving a business is actually trying to take a lot of ownership, right? I mean, and really making those decisions which are very, very critical for the business to grow. And for that, you need to have a business acumen. I mean, and you will face problems every day. In fact, I tell my team, I've only had 5 problems today, so it's a very good day, right? I'm going home very happy. That's how I tell them, because having 5 days in my business, 5 bad things happening in a day in my business, I think it's a great day, right? I mean, it's a challenge for tomorrow to go and fix it, but 5 is not handful, right? You can solve it. So you have to have that mental courage, and that's why I say mental endurance is critical. So from a business acumen point of view, you have to be the solution provider, right? People come to you because you're resourceful, you're very knowledgeable, and hence you need to understand some of the global trends that's happening, what's happening in various markets, what are the new prospects, where are the business opportunities, and you learn all these things only from one person, and that's your customer. So let's be very clear, right? I mean, the only way you will get hands-on experience or knowledge, right? The first-hand knowledge is from your customers. So, and always understand their needs. Don't really go into too much of details. Just understand their overall needs, and you're there. So again, so it's very critical for you to have that business acumen so that you can really be a solution provider. Mental endurance. I talked about, you will have bad days, and probably, it's going to be very often in a very top management type of, position. Your share price will go down. You'll have you lose a big, tender or a order, or you lose some critical people, and you have to face it. You have to face it, right? So that's why resilience and grit. I mean, I don't think there's any substitute for resilience and grit. You need to keep at it. I mean, you have set a vision, you have set a goal. You never lose. You never lose hopes. You just keep fighting there. Come back. You get hit again, come back. You get hit again, come back. Right. So resilience and grit is going to be very critical, right? So that you can jump back from setbacks and disappointments. But there's a lot of there's one thing which people must try to develop from, in fact, from where you are sitting, at the age where you are sitting, and that is clarity of thoughts. You should know exactly what you want to do. There's no point of, when a problem happens, there's no point of thinking about 10 solutions. It's not going to, it's only going to burn your energy. It's going to burn the organization's energy, and it's going to confuse a lot of people. You need to understand which is that one thing that's going to fix it. And you, as a leader, have to take the choice. So your people are going to come and give you, options, right? Hey, we can fix this by this. You can fix this by this way. You're the leader. You're in the chair. You're in the chair of, taking the decision. You have to have very high clarity of thought on how things are going to be fixed. And when you're in such a situation, right, where you have to take a critical decision, don't be emotional, right? There's no point in saying, if I take this decision, my friend will get affected, or my, this particular favorite customer will get affected, or whatever it is. Finally, it's all about your team. I mean, you have 3,000 people, and they are the most important thing. And always, of course, keep customers in center when you take a decision. But you also have, your company, your stakeholders, which are to be taken care of. So never be emotional. Just be calm, but don't be emotional and take your decisions. So that's on driving business. The fourth is leadership decisions, right? I mean, leaders are there for taking decisions, right? That's my job, right? I mean, if you have a problem, I set 20 minutes meeting. First 15 minutes, people talk. They give what the problem is, why it happened, what was the root cause, what are the likely mitigation actions, what are the solutions that we have, and then, well, the leader stands up and says, okay, I've listened, and let's go in this direction. Let's go and solve it. And you own it. As simple as that. I mean, your head rolls because buck stops with you as a leader. So leadership decisions are very critical, and you have to be very courageous to take those decisions. Otherwise, you're never in the CCO room, right? You don't belong there. And for that, to develop that, you need to have very good business analysis mindset, right? You need to understand how to analyze situations, complex situations very quickly. And then you need to rely on, good people, right? I mean, that's very, very critical. And you develop the people, you build capabilities is what I always talk about, and then, and drive the business. So in business analysis, ability to make decisions systematically and strategically, I've written there, but because you'll have multiple sources and factors and prioritization to be done, and you have to consider the benefits, the drawbacks, and there's a lot that you have to do, but you have to analyze with complex data on how the situation of the businesses and take those decisions, which is very critical. Sometimes what we call as act with urgency is very, very important for a leadership position person. I think, amongst everything, the most important, I would say, if you give topmost priority, you should give it for talent and relationships, right? I mean, the good thing is you know about yourself very well, and don't be biased. Don't try to create a wrong aura amongst you, right? You know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are. What's important is to surround people who can complement your weakness, right? I mean, so it's their strength. So as a team, you're very strong, right? But also it's very important to build capabilities amongst each other. So you teach, your strengths to someone else, and someone else teaches their strength to you. It's very, very critical to build capabilities within the team. And you have to do it selfishlessly, right? You shouldn't bother about whether that person will become better than you or things like that. I mean, if that person succeeds, who works for you, who is going to be successful? You are going to be successful, right? But if that person fails, who is going to fail? You are going to fail as a leader, right? Because that person's failure or success depends, is the key factor which will dictate whether you are successful or not. So ensure that you build capabilities selfishlessly. Don't worry about what the other person is doing or whether he's going to go ahead of you and things like that. You do your job and you will always get rewarded. That's how the corporate world is. Provide feedback and coaching, and most important is set clear expectations. And when you meet those expectations, be happy, enjoy, celebrate, reward. Timely, on a timely manner. Somebody did a great job yesterday. Call him or her and congratulate her, right? And thank her, and and do it now. I mean, don't do it after 1 week. If you do it after 1 week, everything is lost. So timing is also very important, as you meet the expectations. So that's it. I mean, this is a classroom style, 4 key, skills I would always try to promote wherever I go from a lecture standpoint. I think the next slide will talk about my life, right? I mean, we learn things in classroom, then we get hired. After that, you're all going to get beaten up. I can assure you that, right? I mean, you're not going to go back, read your books, and try to see, what does the book say? Which in this situation, how should I behave, and things like that. You're going to go through your experiences. You're going to get beaten up, and and you're going to learn. So I started my life in Chennai, right? I mean, I joined Honeywell in Chennai. I joined Sheshai Paper Boards in Perungudi. That's where I was, and then joined Honeywell just within 2 years, again in Chennai. So I think the one thing that I was so happy with was I got a manager who taught me the importance of setting long-term goals. Right. Okay, fine. You should have a goal of, where you want to be in 3 years, 5 years. But it's also very important to understand what your passion was throughout your life and what is that long-term goal that you want to achieve. I can tell you in 96, 97, I'd already told my wife that we will go to the US. Now, it happened after 20 years or 25 years, but that's okay. I set the vision. I not only set, the vision, but, at every stage of my career, I always thought about, what capabilities I need to build so that I can get there. So that's, very critical. So I really set the vision. Again, I should thank my, manager for that. You always should pray God that you have your first manager, which is because that first manager is going to be a very crucial person, what you learn from. And then when I went to Pune as the Honeywell India sales leader, that's where I learned the importance of humility, right? There are some circumstances, there are some situations which happened, and it taught me how important humility is. So as you are successful, sometimes success gets into your head, and there's a very subtle or a very thin line between confidence and arrogance. And I did cross that line somewhere in 2002, 2003 when I was moving to Pune. and setbacks. Somebody teaches you, God teaches you always the lesson, right? And then you learn the importance of humility. It's always good to learn from mistakes and improve, but I think what's important is it's always good to learn from your professors and your well-wishers what mistakes not to do. I mean, they are telling you do this and do that because either they have experienced that that's the right way to do it, or they have learned it from someone else. So I think the smartness is basically listen to your professors and listen to your well-wishers, because they will always tell you, based on their experience. So it's a big learning for me, and but it really helped me drive the concept of humility, calming down. And it really, once I moved out of India, when I went to UK, I learned the importance of how a humble person, how being driving the humility behavior really helps you in the wider world, especially working with British, Europeans, etc. So it's very, very critical. So I grew up to the director level there, and then of course I moved to the US. Well, the one thing I learned in the UK was, how to be resilient, right? I mean, you will get hurt. You will. These are now you're becoming a very important person in the company. As soon as you become a director level, well, people are watching. Your success will impact company's performance. So the one thing that you always never let go is resilience and fight back. Well, the product marketing role helped me to have the strategic innovation type of thinking. I can do classes on strategic innovation. I mean, it's something very critical as you grow in the C-suite, how innovative you should be, and not necessarily only in technology or anything, even in HR function, even in the manufacturing facility as a site leader or a manufacturing plant leader, you have to drive innovation thinking so that you can keep improving process and profitability of the company. And then as I became vice president and president, I was telling you the importance of, people, right? I think building capabilities in people, depending on the trust, giving the trust of the people are critical. You don't have the time to do everything, right? I mean, it's impossible. When you're running a business in 120 countries, you have no chance to get into so many details. The only way you can get in is you trust your people and just, give that responsibility to them. So I think that's very critical, and that's why building organization capabilities are very, very crucial. But never forget your family, right? I mean, I always say that whatever I've achieved is because of my wife and the support she has extended to me for the last 29 years. Otherwise, there's no chance, I can tell you. I mean, I had zero chance to get there. Yeah, I mean, my children both are, one is a mechanical engineer, is an aero, and the other is, doing his finishes bioengineering, and now is in a med school doing MD, becoming a doctor. Of course, I have a pet. I love my pet, walks every day. So you have your curricular activities, never miss it out, whatever it be. Dance, singing, playing football, coaching football, playing tennis, doesn't matter, whatever your extracurricular, I mean, collecting coins, very, very important, because you'll create a network which is beyond work. And it is very, very crucial for you to understand that. I mean, you must, balance your work life and your personal life. And, network in your personal life is going to really matter. And for that, I think your extracurricular activities that you have, your other skill that you always carry along with you, is also very important as you grow in the C-suite. And you will, if you Google about just Jeff Bezos, or, we talked about, or even Howard Schultz, who is the CEO of Starbucks, I mean, or Richard Branson. I mean, all these people have extracurricular activities that, have really helped them, or, either in cooling themselves off, taking time from their work, or actually helping them build a bigger network to be very successful. So never miss that as well. That's it from my side. I know I took a lot of time, but I think it was important, but now we can go to Q&A, question and answers. Yeah, I hope it was useful.
It was a wonderful opening address, sir. Thank you so much for the inauguration address. And once again, our congratulations. I didn't mention in the early morning. So you have become the president and one of the known C-suite personalities in the world now. It's a great honor for our students to learn from you this morning here on Monday. So I think it's going to set something base in their mind, and they're going to take it forward. This year we are going to have a lot of C-suite meetings soon after this. So they're going to learn from various CEOs from various industries. And this is a kind of input they needed, that 4 aspects. They can even discuss with the leaders they're going to meet in the future. That's the base you have given. Even I didn't think about it. I was just asking them to prepare some question and come. And this is a great input and insight for our students. Thank you so much, sir. And let us start with some small Q&A session with our students. And you just understand the meaning behind and give them the insights, sir, please. The questions
Sure.
may not be up to that level, but just get into that, sir, please.
No problem. Come on. Yeah.
Can you yes, share? I'll ask the same thing. Yeah.
Morning, sir. I'm Sarveshwaran. Your current role at Honeywell, what are the challenges you face in process measurement and control?
Right. So, couple of things, right? I mean, so there is internal and external. So I always said, always start with the customer. Always think, what's important for the customer first. But let me address one problem each so that, we have time for other questions. For the customer, in measurement and control, what's happening is, to optimize their process, right? I mean, take a refinery, petrochemical, or any other process industry, or even an automobile manufacturing industry, how to be more efficient. I mean, to be more efficient, you need data, correct? You need to analyze data, right? And as you analyze data, you can optimize stuff, right? You can do an algorithm to optimize stuff and implement it. But to collect data, you need to invest in instruments, right? I mean, that's where data comes from. Where else, data will come from? It will come from sensors, right? That's where data comes from. But these are very expensive sensors. You typically a refinery has 200,000, means 2 lakh to 3 lakh type of sensors, right? And these are very expensive. So how do we now create a sensor which can measure multiple parameters, right? It can measure the temperature and the pressure. It can measure, the pH and the pressure. So how do we use one sensor to measure multiple parameters so that the customers can implement these data and also these sensors in a cost-effective way and also get data. So that's the problem from a customer standpoint. From a business standpoint, it's supply chain. So we all know what the world has gone through after COVID, right? I mean, electronics component shortages, the inflation's going higher. So I would say the biggest challenge that we are facing currently in the industry is how the shortages has caused a huge inflation to the industry. So that's increased our cost. So it not only creates a problem for us in delivering our products on a timely basis to our customer, but also in a very cost-effective way. So the whole challenge currently is how do we use various innovative engineering practices to reduce the cost of our product and use components which are easily available or more easily available, than some of the components that are, become scarce. So that's, I think, the supply chain is probably one of the topmost challenges, for me in my job. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Only one bold person.
Yeah, start first.
Morning, sir.
Hi.
I'm Harani. My question is, how does Honeywell prioritize customer centricity and address the evolving needs and preferences?
Sorry, what was I got that. How does Honeywell prioritize customer centricity? I got that. After that, what was after?
Address the needs and preference of its clients. Needs
All
and
right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I always said, always understand from the customers their needs. Okay. So that's the most important thing that you need to do, because innovation only starts with customers. I mean, you learn business from customers, you come back, you analyze it, and then, find a solution for all their needs. Uh, I think a classic case is Apple, right? I mean, we used to have clocks, we used to have radios, we used to have tape recorders, we used to have TVs, we used to have phones. But what Apple did was understood the need of a person, right? They understood that all these things are the need. Then they decided, why can't we get it in one single, instrument, right? That's what they understood from their customers, that they had need for multiple things. When they came back to the office, the innovation team got together and said, why don't we develop this, right? The Apple Watch, and you know where the world is now. So that's a very classic case on how you understand customers' needs, come back, and then provide an innovative solution. As far as Honeywell is concerned, our day starts and ends with customer. I can tell you that. I mean, all our policy are more towards our customers. For example, we do monitor. So we have a lot of salespeople, right? I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in this room who wants to get into sales. And if you're joining Honeywell or any multinational companies, we have a policy that you should meet customers at least 7 times in a week, face to face, right? I mean, you can meet them in Teams or in Zoom multiple times. That's okay, but you should be face to face with a customer 7 times. So we do monitor, that. I mean, just to understand the importance that we give to customer. The other thing is we have what is called as customer advisory boards. So we take the top 10, 20 customers of ours, like Exxons and the Chevrons, and I'm sure HPCL or Reliance also is one of them. And we create an advisory board, right? A set of very senior people who tell us, hey, Honeywell invest. So we invest, more than $1 billion in R&D, right? So invest your money here and invest in these areas, because this is where we want to be. So the customer advisory boards are very critical for, giving us, the direction that the company should take in terms of the investments, wherever we do in R&D. I mean, always remember, whatever decisions you take, always keep the customer in, be in the center. That's why we call customer centric, and take your decisions. Yeah, very, very crucial. Yeah. Hi.
Yes, sir. My question is, can you share sufficient challenges you faced on your career, and how did you overcome it?
So you're asking me what are the challenges I faced in my career?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you face challenges every year. So um, in every job that you are in, you will face challenges, right? I mean, there's challenges are not going anywhere. The most important thing is you have to enjoy your job. Once you enjoy your job, those challenges are no longer challenges. It becomes opportunity to learn, opportunity to find new solutions, and you really double down on it. So instead of spending 2 hours, you now spend 4 hours, because you're so energetic to fix the problem and find and come out victorious, that you become that. Well, there's a lot of challenges. I mean, I moved from, so I was in Dubai looking after the Honeywell's operations there, and then I moved to the UK. But a situation, very, very unique situation arise, which I never faced in my life, and that is my family didn't like it in the UK, right? It was a different environment. It was very cold, and it was a little different for them. For me, it was like going to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning, coming back like 6 o'clock. It doesn't matter whether I'm in Dubai, in the US, in Middle East, in India, right? It's going to be 7 to 6 in the office. But for the family, it's different, right? And I think that's very important for all of you to know, that if your family is not happy, you're not going to be happy. Your performance will decline. It's very, very crucial in life, right? So you always keep that in mind. So it's a very unique challenge. It was not a challenge that I faced of in my office or in my business life, but it was at home, right? I mean, people were not happy with the situation. So how did I how did I solve the situation? I mean, I told you, right? I always wanted to go to the US, right? So that was my aspiration. So I would have thought about moving probably to the US in 2 years' time after where I was, but I decided no, my family is not really happy in UK. So as I said, when you love your job, you find a solution, and and when you're focused to find a solution, you will find a solution. The important thing is to focus, and through various situations, I mean, I was able to move out from the US. My son continued to study in the UK because he had joined the university for college, engineering in the UK. But everything came together after that. So, when you take risk, when you stay focused and want to always achieve your goal, challenges are not a problem at all. Challenges are actually opportunities. So always, the most important thing is to enjoy the job. If you don't enjoy the job, get out. So they say that, if you don't enjoy or you don't get too much of money, then you need to quit. They say that, right? So always keep this in mind. I mean, first is enjoyment. If you don't enjoy, quit. Don't worry, you'll find something else. And second is, if you are enjoying but they're not paying you well, take your decision and quit. Doesn't matter, and you'll find another job which you'll enjoy, and you'll also get paid. So always gain, you give respect when you gain. You gain respect when you give respect. That's how it is. Yeah.
As you said, so there's a saying, when you love the job is no longer a job, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's what people say. Before another question comes in, I wanted you to give them some inputs about the business scalings. As you said, talent and relationship matter today, the most important. So, the other side is your performance, as you are the measurement control and the process of control, in charge person, and you have got vast experience to that. I do not want them to miss it in the technical side. Maybe you could give them some inputs from that.
Why the technical side, is it?
Yeah. I mean, that the business scaling, how do you scale, your units and your corporate, levels and the SBU levels and so on, yeah?
Yeah, okay. So, it's first is you need to understand the market very well, right? You need to understand if you are going to develop a product, you need to understand from the needs of the customer, and you need to understand, how much will the customer buy, right? Should I develop a technology which is going to, probably sell 100 pieces a month, or 5,000 pieces a month, or 20,000 pieces a month? What is the price that the customer is willing to pay, right? It all depends on what value you add, right? So we always call it value pricing. So marketing is very, very crucial, right? I mean, because everything starts from the market. So, you need to really, that's the backbone of, of an industry, defining exactly what the market needs. We call it market research document. And once you understand that, then you develop a product. But after that, to run operations, you need to have the cash, right? I mean, you need to invest. Now, it all depends on how strong you are, how are you going to generate the cash, and how efficiently you're going to generate it, right? I mean, so the most important thing to learn is, cash or profit, okay? And I don't think there's an answer. There's no CEO who's going to give you another answer, right? You focus on cash. You don't focus on profit. Okay. Because there are companies who focus on profit, makes a lot of profit, but they close down. Okay. They make a lot of profit in the books, but they close down. So always focus on cash, and because cash is very crucial. Now, where is cash getting stuck? The reason a lot of companies get messed up is because they buy stuff in raw material, or they size their operations by opening offices, hiring people. having a lot of inventory of goods, which are not worth it, right? I mean, in the sense, let's say a customer, just take Apple phone again, right? I'll give you an example. If if you know that the Apple phone with the black cover, right, the black color or whatever it is the most fastest selling, and the one with say violet color is the least selling, and if Apple starts producing the violet color too much, right, and keeps it, it's not going to sell. Your cash is stuck, right? So I think that that's very crucial, and that is what we call as forecasting, right? Forecasting the right SKUs is very crucial for us to really understand how do we scale up operations. And to scale up operations, it takes time. Let's say your manager comes and tells you, we are looking at the COVID hit, right? What happened to the masks? The world of masks, right? The business went 100 times, 200 times, 500 times, right? But how much time does it take to come out with equipments and actually manufacture COVID masks? It takes 6 months, 8 months. So what is important is to plan your capex too. The capital expenditures. How do you plan it? What do you have to invest this year? That all depends on how you forecast your business. So forecasting is a very critical tool, that you basically have to adopt in your organization. Otherwise, you spend your cash on things that will not give you returns. So always focus on cash, always focus on market research based on your customer needs, which are the critical areas. As far as technology is concerned, see, remember one thing: technology will get obsolete in every 10 years. Nowadays, earlier it used to be every 20 years, probably in the 2000 to 2010, it used to be every 15, 10 years. Now it's like every 3 years technology gets obsolete, right? Microsoft comes out with new releases, Apple comes out with new phone, and that's what happens even in the technical world. I mean, for example, spectroscopy is a great way of measuring gas, composition now, right? It was not existent, 20 years back the way it is today. And I was talking about parameter measurement. So technologies also are developing heavily, right? Earlier it used to be chemistry to do gas analysis. Now it is physics, optics to do gas analysis. So yeah, and so as a technical person, you have to keep that in mind as well, right? As you innovation is going to happen, you have to be innovative. You yourself will have to spend time on being innovative. So you need to spend that money in research, which is very crucial. So tying up with universities, tying up with labs, tying up with industries are going to be very crucial as you go along, because technologies get obsolete every 2 to 3 years, and you have to be always current and be innovative. So I think these are some of the stuff that we always look at, for scaling up business, because if you have an old technology and you have not refreshed it, again your cash is stuck, because nobody's going to buy it. You have a lot of goods already in your go down, and you're not able to sell, right? And as soon as your cash in the bank goes up, I can tell you, whatever profit you make, it makes no sense. You will always close down. So I think it's very crucial for you to keep all the relevant things together.
So being an engineer and a technical person, then you started with like a technical side, then moved into sales and market. So then you became into the president roles. Right? So as you said, the core is customer and customer centric. When you reach there, and it's very difficult to be.
Always touch the customer. So, I was lucky that I got my first job as a service engineer. I was in a pulp and paper plant in Erode and in, Pugalur, right? TNPL and SPB. So I spent a lot of time commissioning and really dirtying my hands, right? Understanding technologies, understanding, how a flow meter works, how a pressure instruments work, how a temperature instrument work, how do you connect it to a control system, and then how does the whole paper come out. So, any paper is caliper. Caliper is the thickness of the paper. Basis weight is the weight of the paper. Brightness is the brightness of the paper, and color, right? So these are four critical things, they measure. And how do you measure all these things? So I was very lucky to, start my basics, in a customer organization, actually dirtying hands. I think, the first 2 years of my life really gave me the foundation, for my future, I would say. Even today, I use some of those learning principles, or some of those learnings even in my job today, right, in solving problems. Again, as I said, you have to be in the top three. So if you're joining a new job, and you have 10 trainees or 30 trainees that a company is taking, I would say you have to be in the top three. That's it. Your manager should see you, working hard, working exceptionally, efficiently, very inquisitive, problem-solving type of person, right? It doesn't matter whether you're in technical world or not. I mean, the person who asked me to join sales was my boss, who was my in my technical role, he was an engineer, right? And he said, Sri, I think, with your energy, you'll do great in sales. Why don't you go to sales? And I was shocked. I mean, he was losing a, good person, but, he decided, to promote me into sales, because he thought I can add more value to the company. And that's what you need. You need to be in the first 2 or 3, wherever you are, even in the class, right? I mean, I can tell you, blunt, right? I mean, the top 5% of your class will do extremely well in your life. Don't worry about it, right? Be in the top 5 and you will do there. If you're not, aspire to get there. Otherwise, you're in you have a much tougher life to live. So, it's very simple. I mean, if you're in the top 5 of the class, always do. And always aspire to be, when you go into the next class, which means in my job, when I go into the next position, you always start as the backbencher, right? You must, if your room is full of great people, better people than you, and you are really in the backbencher in the starting, it's a big boon that God has given you. So remember that you are now with a team that is much, much more knowledgeable than you, much more experienced than you, and can add a lot of value to you. Don't look at them as competition, right? Look at them as an opportunity for you to learn. So now you are a backbencher. But what is important is in 2 years' time, you have to come out as the first bencher, right? Or number 1 person in that room. And that's what you're good. That's what you will, that's what you should aspire to be. And I always did that. Whenever I took a new role, I will always see that, oh, I'm in a group of people who are much better than me. But in 2 years' time, I learned from them. I learned from outside. I self-invest in my capabilities, and I want to get out of the room number 1. Right? That's when you actually grow. So I think that's very very important. Whether you're in the technical field, or you keep moving up, that's the way it is. That's the way you have to be, and you can continue in the technical field, right? I mean, a great technologist, fellows, doctors, of engineering, they're all people who have grown in the technical field and innovated, right? So I hire a lot of people. I have 6 fellows in my team, right? These are double PhDs, triple PhDs, people in, from Boston and things like that. They've only done, they've only throughout their life lived, in the technical field. And it's not that their earnings are lesser than me. So don't get it wrong. Don't think that CEO earns the highest or the president earns the highest. It's not true. That's a wrong notion, actually. To hire those people, you have to pay them what their worth is. Probably they are more worth than you. So you have to pay them what the worth is. So it's not necessary that only a president, earns the highest in a company. That's a very wrong notion. Sometimes, many a times, I would say the chief technology officer probably earns more than the president, because that's the worth of the company, right? I mean, just imagine Apple or imagine Google. I mean, who is the most precious person there? Yeah, very clear, right? I mean, the technologists, they are the most precious people there. So you have to, yeah. So it's not that. It all depends on what field you love and what you're passionate about, and I remember that famous, I'm sure you know that, right? I mean, what Bruce Lee used to say, right? He fears a person who, he doesn't fear a person who has 10,000 kicks, type of kicks, but he fears a person who has one kick, but he has practiced 10,000 times, right? He has only one type of kick, but he has, practiced 10,000 times. So that's what you all need to do. I mean, you need to choose what field you have to go and you have to be the best in it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It was a great insight for them. Ask one question. Once last.
Hello, sir. I'm Adithya. Question is, reflecting on your experience, what do you consider the most valuable lesson you have learned in your career so far?
Valuable lesson is, be, again, I talked about not being selfish about anything, right? I mean, the only way you will learn is by giving. That's the only way. So you have to teach. They say that, the easiest way to learn is to teach, right? And I think, if you start doing it from your very young career, so, you all will, probably in another 1 or 2 years time, get into the industry. From there on, you start developing the concept of sharing whatever you have with others, and you will see that you'll gain a lot of knowledge. But what is important is after 25 years, these people that you help them, you share the information with, you help them come up in life, or work together to solve a problem, went the extra mile to support your colleagues or support your friend, they will remember that and they will come back in a very big way to support you. You have no clue, the massive I would say, wealth that you have created unknowingly, right, in the back. And when time needs, in 25 years, they also become very senior leaders wherever they are. You also are growing. And then when you join hands, then it's like 10 times, 10 folds of things. So I think the biggest lesson or biggest, lesson I've learned is that, I mean, never be selfish about yourself. I mean, always think about sharing your knowledge. As you share, you will gain a lot of knowledge. And as you help people, it will always pay back. I mean, you don't expect it. Don't do it for that reason. But, you're creating so much of wealth as you do that, that it will always pay you back.
The last question. I hope you are fine with it. Maybe it's getting to midnight, I guess. Yeah. You are taking so much of your time. Thank you so much.
I'm Malishma.
Hi.
Right, as automation advances, continuous advances, what do you think, what do you foresee as the potential impact on the workforce and job role in the industry?
Right. So we all talk about autonomous, right? I mean, automation is going to create autonomous world. And, but I think it's a very, very, very false notion that because of that, jobs are going to be impacted. The reason there's a lot of push towards autonomous is because of, improved performance, improved safety. Take a car, right? So I was in Korea, a couple of months back, and my general manager there drove me, from Honeywell office to, to a customer. It was a 45 minutes drive, and he never touched his steering, as he went along. And I was like, oh, wow, right? I mean, and then I looked at the stats, and the stats said, statistics said, that safety incidents have come down by 100th, right? So you have lesser people injured, you have lesser, lesser accidents, and that boosts economy, right? If there are more accidents, you kill economy, right? Now, to develop autonomous solutions, you need more skilled people, right? You can't. How do you develop these solutions, right? Because you have to employ more people, you have to employ more skilled people. And hence the education system, right? Right from there, it's very crucial for us to change, right? The industry needs to work with, schools, with universities to ensure that, they provide those type of education system so that, what the needs of the industries are in 10 years time, in 20 years time, are adopted, right? So, and for developing these solutions, right, we need to hire 2 or 3 times the people that we need, actually, right? It's easy to do a mechanical stuff, and it's very tough to do an electronic stuff or an automated stuff. So it's I think it's a wrong notion that, jobs are not created. Yes, the type of jobs, the different level of jobs are different, but the earnings of the people are different. I would say, yeah, the per capita is going to really increase. You're all going to have a much more, I would say, sophisticated life than what it was before. But yes, I mean, we have to change the whole concept from education onwards. It's not that, you can, just live with that. But yeah, automation or autonomous is not going to reduce jobs. It's only going to increase jobs.
Okay.
It was really wonderful, sir, having you here today in the inaugural function. I think we are going to stop it by 9 o'clock so that that 1 hour, what I have promised you, on maintain it, your valuable time. And it was a great insight for the opening day. You have given the clear note where to start with, and the first 2 years are crucial, and it's best to be the best 3 whatever they do. That's something, it's a slogan, they should take it from today, and they got to practice from now. Something we always insist, but that comes from the best man in the world. So they have to take it as principle, the man of principle, man of discipline. I know the man of everything is standing in front of us, sitting in front of us. It's a great opportunity and blessings on Monday morning by 8 o'clock. What a wonderful thing we need more than this. This is a great occasion. Thank you so much for being here, sir. And I just wanted to personally ask you one thing. This is an evening night, at least after 10 o'clock, you are sitting over in front of us. And how do you keep yourself fresh all the time, even morning or afternoon? Or
well, because at 10:30 now, in fact, it's already started. I have a meeting with my China team, so I better go. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, so. Okay. Yeah, so when we do global jobs, obviously, we have to also take care of, that's where humility also comes into picture, right? I mean, if I always set timings and meetings for suiting my time, right, it becomes a mess for, a time zone. Just imagine if I start setting up time at 7 o'clock in the morning for China, right? My 7 o'clock is like 9 o'clock in the night for them. So that doesn't give good things. So sometimes you have to give away. So, if I have very critical meetings with Asia Pacific team, then I do it in the night. So yeah. So how do you keep fresh? Again, as I said, you love your job. There is no challenge.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Take a good break, and we'll meet up you soon again. And thank you very much once again, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and all the best, students. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Yes, sir.